What's up, people? It's your boy Slide. In this video, I'm going to talk about people's behavior and mindsets in the US. If you guys have noticed, many Americans today are very bitter, angry, and frustrated most of the time, right? A lot of people don't know this, but I'm speaking on what I've seen. And you have to understand, I've noticed that many Americans today are living a life they never wanted. Okay? Let me start by saying this. One reason why many Americans are angry is because they live from paycheck to paycheck. You see, when you're young, right? You work these low-end jobs because you're looking for a better tomorrow, right? Like you're working at Walmart, you're working at these retail stores, these fast food restaurants, is because you're looking for a better tomorrow, right? So, of course you don't mind taking the stress or the headache because you're working this job to pay for graduate school. You're working this job to save money for a business you want to start or possible investments. So you work these low-end jobs. I understand totally. But you have some people out there who work these jobs as careers. But a dead-end job cannot be a career. It's impossible. Okay? And what happens in many cases, that some people in their 30s and 40s, they get comfortable working a shitty job, then they end up being stuck. See what I mean? So what happens is that this can lead to anger, bitterness, and frustration. When you work a low-end job, right? When you work a low-end job, you're pretty much on your you have to be on your best behavior because they can replace you like it's nothing. Because the company hired you does not mean they give a damn about you. Okay? Many jobs hire people because they have to fill their quota or they need to fill that actual position. They don't care about you per se. So that's why those jobs are high stress, because if the manager doesn't like you or coworkers don't like you, they will find a way to get rid of you. Believe me, they'll find a way to get rid of you. And most of the time, if employees try to get rid of you, it's due to the fact that they spoke against you collectively. You see what I mean? There's a big difference. So that's what happens in many cases, right? So, and another thing to consider is that these low-end jobs, they don't pay anything. On average, they're paying about, I think, 15 bucks an hour. Maximum, they're paying 20. Maximum. Okay? So when you work these low-end jobs, you really don't have much savings available. Because I know if you work type of jobs, you're coming home with, on average, around $3,000 a month. Then you have to pay your rent, pay for your transportation costs, and you have to pay for your phone bill, your electricity. So you really cannot save money. You can't save with a low-end job. Okay? So this is what happens in many cases that people don't really understand. So people need to understand how that works. Then you have the scenario where a lot of people get fired from these crappy low-end jobs anyway. I'm gonna tell you something that I have noticed that many people probably been through it but never actually thought about it. When you work these low-end jobs, most of the time, they're actually trying to find a way to get rid of you. Believe it or not. People don't know this, but I'm just telling you how this stuff works. When you work a low-end job, many times, the company that hired you, someone, usually the higher position, is trying to get rid of you. And this is how they do it, right? You are a new employee, right? You make a mistake, right? When you make a mistake, the employees in the company, the supervisor in the company, is supposed to correct you so you won't do it again, right? That's the whole point of having a supervisor and having coworkers, because you work together, right? What happens is that when you make a mistake, they don't tell you anything. They'll just mark it against you. They'll put it in your file, right? Then the day they want to get rid of you, and the day they want to fire you, usually they already had another employee to take your spot. Then they'll call you into the office and say, we're going to have to let you go. Like, for what? Well, you made many mistakes. On this date, you did this. On this date, you did that. And you've done this numerous times. And we don't think you will help us achieve our goals in this company. So we're going to have to let you go. And you're saying to yourself the whole time, like, what the fuck? I did these things, but no one corrected. No one told me about this. No one told me how to do it this way. No one told me to do, no one told me this, no one told me that. And all they're gonna say is, sorry. Do you not see how that shit works? You are a new employee in the company, and you're making mistakes. Supervisor won't correct you, and your coworkers won't correct you, and they're gonna mark it against you. And the only time they told you about it is the day they want to fire you. Do you not see that bullshit? Many of you guys have been through this shit before, right? This is what these companies do. Okay? They do this shit all the fucking time. That's why I can never go back to a low-end job ever again. I don't care. I can never go back. In terms of it being like my career and shit, not gonna happen. But when you have a respectable job, okay, when you work in a professional environment, most of the time, somebody is gonna correct you. Most of the time, someone's gonna tell you how to get things done because they work in teams. But these low-end jobs, they don't give a fuck. They don't even care. So you can imagine that stress that just happens, right? So now you just worked a low-end job, you got fired, and you now have to spend your time to find another low-end job to sustain your basic needs. Do you not see how much time that goes on with that shit? And believe it or not, when I tell you this, these low-end jobs, they make it so difficult to get. It should be an easy process. No, they make it difficult. You see, do you not see where I'm coming from right now? So that's why a lot of stress adds up. Okay, just imagine if you're 40 years old and you are working a job, then you manage to get terminated, do you really think that's going to, do you really think that person is going to be, oh, it's whatever, no big deal? No, because the older you get, companies don't like hiring older people. So you can imagine the stress that goes on there, right? So this is why a lot of people today are angry, because they're working jobs they don't like for low pay. That's why many Americans are pissed off most of the time. I have rarely seen a person with a career that hates his job. I rarely see it, because if he hates his job, he can always work for another company. Because in those careers, they actually need people. Okay? That's why a lot of Americans are angry. Okay? Then you have to worry about the cost of living. Because believe it or not, like a lot of people in the US, they don't have careers. Many people in America don't have careers. And the reason why they don't have careers is due to the fact that they got comfort, they chose a path that was not dependable. It made good money at first, but it's not dependable. And they end up being stuck. You know, that happens. We all fall in those situations. Then you have the respect factor. In the United States, if not other parts of the world, people respect you based on what you've done with your life. Okay? Like, nobody cares if you become a doctor at age 40. No one cares if you start your own business at age 45. They only care if you have a respectable career. Because people respect you based on what you've accomplished. Think about it. You're 40 years old. You don't have any accomplishments that's worth talking about. That can make anyone feel inferior. You see what I mean? Like, when people talk to you, they're talking about your career or the places you've been to, the countries you've traveled to, because you have more experience. You see what I'm talking about now? You see what I'm talking about? So that's what you need to understand about success. Money is not about success. It's about what you've done with your life. So people need to understand this. And a lot of people don't understand how things work. A lot of people, that's why I can't talk to people who aren't successful. Because when you start talking about the things you've accomplished or the things you want to do, a lot of people are just going to get angry because they haven't achieved their own goals in life. So when they see you trying to work on your personal goals, they want to come and sabotage you. They want to come and stop you. They want to come and frustrate you. This happens all the time. So you need to understand how these things work. There's so many bitter people in society that makes you cringe a little bit, you know? Some people out there are just frustrated, you know? The mindset of people is if they are not successful, they don't want anyone else to be successful. You see what I mean? Most people who work low-end jobs are not successful because you can't be successful living from paycheck to paycheck. Okay? Some people in the United States today are just straight up miserable because of the path they chose. So people need to understand how these things are sometimes. So, I mean, I didn't really go too deep into this video, but it's something that people need to understand. You know, like some people, in summary, I just put in summary, people who work low-end jobs usually hate their lives, period. Okay? They hate their lives, they hate their job, and they wish everyday things could be different. And they are just straight up miserable. They're working 9 to 5 at a job they don't like, and if they see anyone happy or if they see anyone pursuing their goals, they will find a way to sabotage them. So that's just pretty much what it is. Let me know what you think. Peace.